Politics, they say, is local. These men don't really represent the affairs of the Igbos. The elimination of the Ohaneze Ndigbo is the beginning and the beginning of our freedom. Every nation has the right to file for secession or self-determination. That is, every nation has the right to say, we don't want to be part of this nation any longer. We can rule ourselves, we can govern ourselves, and we have all it takes to be independent. Every nation has a right to make this declaration, and the United Nations will conduct a referendum for them to determine their position via individual votes. Now, the question is, why can't a referendum be conducted in Nigeria to decide the position of the Biafrans, the Oduduwans, and the other parts of Nigeria that are agitating for independence? Why? This is the theme of today's video. My name is Nnamdi Omeire, and I still remain your humble, elegant soldier. Please welcome back to our channel once again, Showbox Africa, the adults. And I hope you'd find something to take away from today's program at the end of the day. And this channel will give you a realistic hope, a realizable aspirations. Not just saying something that is too good to be true. You have to visualize your reality from the realistic point of view. This is Showbox Africa, and before we dive in deep into what we have for you in today's video, please make sure you subscribe to support our channel. Then to get every of our uploads, turn on the notification bell. Thanks in advance as you do that. It's unfortunate that when we talk about war, the Igbos get seriously scared. But when you listen to the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, he uses brute force when he addresses the issues of Nigeria and how Biafra will be actualized. And this will tell you that he actually understands that the Biafran independence can never be actualized without violence, without disagreement, without a brute force. The fact is that many of the new nations who were able to gain independence in recent years were able to display a strong disagreement towards their oppositions, which led to serious unrest to an epic level that would draw the mind of their so-called opposition to call for a negotiation. Without negotiation, we are nothing. So the big question is, how can we induce that atmosphere that will lead to a negotiation? Take a look at what is happening in Nigeria today. The federal government of Nigeria has really felt a little bit of the pressure from us, which I would say we've not given them enough. Why was the NSAS protest stopped? Because that was going to give them enough. All the affairs of the country were nearly paused. No one was having fun. They were about to be exposed at the international scene. It was a clear proof that the citizens are fed up. And had it been the protest continued by now, it would be a different story. In today's video, we'll be understanding the process that will lead to a referendum for the Biafrans to exit Nigeria. What Biafrans must do to make sure we are heading towards that direction, where the Nigerian government will have no option than to call for a peaceful agreement where a negotiation follows, to ensure our demands are tabled and met with utmost seriousness. This is similar to our previous video. However, in this video, we will focus our analysis on Biafra instead of Southern Sudan as we did in our last video. Hope you stay tuned. We have been misinformed to some extent by some of our media agents on YouTube and other platforms, who made us to believe that we will just wake up one day and Nigerian government will call for a referendum and Biafra will be declared within a twinkle of an eye. I want to tell you this, I want to say this. No country has ever gained independence in quietness. There's no magic. You fight for it, you go and get it, by making the whole nation unfavorable for everyone, starting from Ohaneze Ndigbo to our eastern governors and to all the enemies of freedom scattered round that nation. Nnamdi Kanu uses brute force when he speaks because no nation, no leader of any cultural group has ever achieved freedom sitting down quietly. They say peace can be achieved with violence. However, violence is needed to induce an atmosphere of negotiation and a peaceful agreement that brings everlasting peace. What can we do for the next generation, if not paving a way for their greater future, by ensuring we win this battle for them? This is the era we have to sacrifice for them. A referendum in the case of Biafrans would determine our position in the struggle for self-determination. However, according to what has been obtainable in the past and present years, a case like that of Biafrans, for example, where the entity filing for secession, the entity filing for self-determination is tagged a terrorist organization and not officially recognized by its immediate government, then it's invalid to United Nations. Now understand me very well, okay? Unless that group or entity is able to destabilize the nation, which is the reason why Nigerian government is fighting with all their might to subjugate the IPOB organization. A referendum is usually conducted on a very neutral ground after a peaceful agreement and negotiation has already been reached. And at that time, the entity filing for secession is recognized by the nation and both nations are already in absolute peace and understanding. Take for an instance, if the Ohaneze Ndigbo declares that they want Biafra, or the eastern governors tells the federal government that they need Biafra and would no longer stand with Nigeria, they are the people in position to say that. And then the federal government will take an immediate action, which is either saying no and going for war or accepting it and Biafra will go. If you remember that the Aburi Accord meeting was called by Ojukwu, and at that time Ojukwu was in the Nigerian government. This was why the Nigerian as a nation didn't take it lightly. After they abandoned it, Ojukwu declared Biafra, they went after Ojukwu, and that was how the war started. So, can Ohaneze Ndigbo or the eastern governors declare Biafra against Nigeria? But this isn't possible to happen because this man has sold the Igbos. This man has saboteurs and they have sold the Igbos for a very long time. So this is why the IPOB emerged at the forefront and has gained the necessary momentum to turn things around. We Biafrans are expecting a referendum. We want it because we are fed up with the nation Nigeria. What can we do? In our previous videos, we analyzed the South Sudan and what they were able to do to actualize their independence. I must tell you that their case, their history of marginalization in the hands of the Sudanese government is so much in resemblance to ours. Let's look at the UN International Court of Justice criteria that must be fulfilled by Biafrans as a nation filing for self-determination. This will help us build a realizable hope as we move along this journey. As you can see on the screen, these are listed requirements and objectives we must meet in order to materialize Biafra. Now, let's look at them one after the other. Which of these requirements has Biafra met and which wouldn't or would be difficult to meet? By men looking at the presentation on the screen, you could see for yourself that the referendum is on our side. I mean the side of the Biafrans. Why did I say so? According to the United Nations requirements, looking at the criteria number 1, an established cultural group. This point has automatically been earned by the Biafrans, as the indigenous people of Biafra, the IPOB, feels this vacant as a strong and a formidable internationally recognized cultural organization, and as well having gained a massive followers and momentum so far. I bet you Biafra will be achieved under the stewardship of the IPOB. The next on the list is the history of being institutionally marginalized. This is a well-earned point as well. No doubt that the reason Aburi meeting was called was to reinstate the autonomy and some degree of self-governing rights in the eastern region and other parts of the nation to ensure equity and fairness. However, it was abandoned the same year because the Nigerian society was created to marginalize the Easterners, and this is what we are suffering today. We have all the evidence. The criteria number 3, an independent representative system of government. Now, when you look at this point, you may be thinking it only means your own team or people that will govern your government if it's governed. Yes, it partially means that. However, these representatives must be officially recognized by the government of the country where you live in as the people's representative of that region. In Nigeria, all the major and minor ethnic regions have its own official independent representative in the federal government. For the Igbos, we have the Ohaneze Ndigbo as the ethnic representative of the Igbo communities within and outside Nigeria. But the fact is that the Igbos didn't form this group. We never supported this group. They were just imposed on us as our representatives up there. So the Igbos has the right to revolt or protest against the Ohaneze. Since we are in a democracy, and in a democracy the people are entitled to choose their local leaders. Politics, they say, is local. These men don't really represent the affairs of the Igbos. The elimination of the Ohaneze Ndigbo is the beginning of our freedom. Because the position the Ohaneze Ndigbo occupies in the lives and the destinies of the Igbos is very crucial. And it is meant for a group that are really out for the change the Igbos are clamoring for. The fight begins with Ohaneze. Any group that must represent the Igbos must be speaking along with IPOB by calling for a negotiation and the official recognition of the IPOB as the chosen representative of the people. I will make a separate video on this. The fourth criteria is as well very, very important and a crucial point, but we must need to ensure the third criteria is met before this will automatically be possible, because this is the stage of negotiation. At this point, the Igbos will present their demand on the table, when Nigerian government will have no choice than to sign a comprehensive peaceful agreement, which was the same thing that happened in South Sudan, when the Sudanese government had enough of the disruption from the South. They called for a negotiation, and that negotiation was the secret of their independence today. Because their cultural group, the SPLM at that point, was officially recognized as the representative of the people. Then they had an oil revenue splitting agreement to ensure no side goes bankrupted, and that was how their independence got nearer. I wouldn't talk much about the criteria number 5, since it's clear that the union never worked. Nigeria were separate before the amalgamation. Our history, our cultural differences, which has resulted to the endless disagreement, which has always been our stock in trade in Nigeria, says so. Nothing much to say about this point. The fact is that separation is the only way forward. One Nigeria has never worked from day one. The final point here is a wide range of support for secession from your group, a comparable support from the other states in the nation, and an international community support. this point will be decided by a referendum. The aim here is to ensure that the ethnic groups or the regions your cultural organization represents are carried along and as well collectively submitting to your demands. And furthermore, the other parts of the nation are fed up with the union and support disintegration as well. Then the international community supports are based on the results of the referendum, which they believe the people should decide in a vote. And as long as they all went well, most importantly, the support for your group, which should be a wide range margin, like for instance the case of Southern Sudan, it was 99% of their people voting for independence, while 58% voted for independence from the other states or region in the country. So that is it for today. As you can see in the above analysis, Nnamdi Kanu actually knows what he is saying, what he is doing. But it seems like our people are not following him step after step. In fact, the best decision he made that has blown my mind is setting up the Eastern Security Network, which I think is necessary and at a very great timing. Not just for the people's immediate protection, however, as the military wing of the Biafrans. You must be equipped. The cause for freedom is high. We must fight for it with all our might. This is the time the Eastern Security Wing, which we call the Eastern Security Network, was one of the Aburi Accords agreement presented by our father Dim Ojukwu that was dropped by Nigeria that led us to war. Today it has been restored. Our hope have risen and our people should be very grateful. The Eastern Security Network must remain. That reminds me of the Southern Sudan. During their struggles, had their military wing, the SPLA, which interprets the Sudanese People's Liberation Army. It was the SPLA and the SPLM, the Sudanese People's Liberation Movement, that led the South towards their second civil war that ended in a peaceful agreement that changed the course of their history. Nnamdi Kanu has done so great for the Igbos and the people of the Eastern region. I must say it, his determination is second to none. Without him, this generation of Biafrans is nothing, unless a miracle happens. We must focus on the struggle and as well give him all the necessary credits he deserves. Thanks for being able to make it to the end of today's video. Congratulations for your patience. We are moving forward. Who do you think is the Biafrans' biggest enemies? Is it the Ohaneze Ndigbo or the Eastern governors? I want you to go down to the comment section and air your views. Share your comments and we'll be replying as soon as possible. Still your able, gallant, elegant soldier, Nnamdi Omeire. Please, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as soon as possible and turn on the notification bell so that you can get every bit of our uploads. Thanks once again, and I'm just saying, have a beautiful day. Peace.